Hey everybody, Space Tomato is still here. While I'm struggling to rip myself away from Cyberpunk 2077 on Twitch or on my Xbox Series X, Star Citizen still chugs along week after week. So I'm here with the latest weekly review, and it's a really good one this time. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk, and thanks to my newest supporter, Google Slanina. First on the agenda was a short feature on the upcoming Talon and Talon Shrike alien light fighters. Serving as an elegant yet strong alternative to the Anvil Arrow or Aegis Gladius, with an alien background, this ship looks to be an incredibly interesting addition to your library of ships. As this ship is made by the same company that creates the Prowler, it features a very bird-like design highlighting the form of the Tavaran species. And we don't need to hear your complaints about how our ships don't look like humans. We get it. The design language has been translated very well, in my opinion, to a smaller, more aggressive form, but I feel the lore really benefits a light fighter when designing for this particular species. I'm looking forward to the cinematic possibilities that follow this ship, much like its older brother. I'm also really excited to see what ships we get in 2021. If you guys haven't noticed, more content is beginning to peek its way into these updates. As far as the roadmap goes, we got 2 ships in the first half of the year, and 7 in the latter half. And along with my recent theory that production is beginning to shift more heavily towards player-facing additions, we could be in for an interesting year of good growth in 2021. To add to some of the excitement of what's coming next year, let's look at the latest sprint report, starting with weapons news. First up is the new Bearing light machine gun. We've been seeing the actual gun for a while now. Finally, here is the view while firing. Then we have the Gemini sniper rifle. It's less exciting in my opinion due to the nature of available FPS gameplay currently in the game, but both of these weapons are adding to the already large selection of weapons available to the player, and when the rest of the game catches up, they will make for some very interesting gameplay. Speaking of interesting gameplay, did you know we were getting a crossbow? Like a full-on crossbow with expanding arrow shafts and one of the coolest designs I've ever seen. This will be great for stealth or non-lethal gameplay in the future. In addition to the weapon, this also introduces a new weapons manufacturer to the game, which means another chance at some company making the absolute perfectly styled weaponry for you. Now, some big news. Physicalized, interactable components. A years-long wishlist item, one of those things that we've been talking about since before the great drought of 2017. It's right around the corner. The usual guinea pig, the Aegis Gladius, has been dressed up in some functional component compartments, and they're looking cozy. If you didn't know, every ship has components with sub-items inside that change your ship's characteristics. These are the lifeblood of your ship. This will be a huge part of the game. In the ship corner, we have some early white box phase looks at the Aegis Redeemer. A ship that was originally pitched years and years ago, but saw a bit of an identity shift this past year. This gunship looks on time to be introduced most likely in the summer of 2021. Now, we get into the eye candy additions. But this feature, while certainly pretty, is not just eye candy. The signed distance field technology being used for re-entry effects, shields, and drag and lift simulations is incredibly valuable as a device that can find the accurate volume and shape of an object, and then attach an engineering function to that volume. It ain't easy, but we're finally seeing the initial application that this SDF tech was meant for in these early tests of the new shield system. A system that not only will make it easier to track your shots across the ship and track high damage points on the shields, but will also allow ships to have a smaller cross-section in space as the shield will be tightly wrapped around the outer hull. Imagine the effects that could be added in the future. shields breaking apart, holes forming in the shield layer, a superheated shield protecting the ship inside. This will be incredibly important to both the visual and functional experience of the game. Next, we got to see some of the planetary improvements that will be hitting all moons and planets except for Yella in the next update, in order to bring them up to minimal quality at the current state of the game. Due to the tools they've created to make these planetary bodies, I believe this is something that will become a routine annual maintenance update to the planet tech because everything is applied systemically rather than by hand. So you won't actually need to worry about these first few systems starting to look outdated after years have gone by. Keep in mind, this is just my speculation, but I think it's almost a certainty. After this, some buoyancy testing was showcased. This would allow developers to generate rule sets for procedural items on the ocean's surface. This could allow for things like resource dumps in the middle of the ocean, possibly requiring underwater resource retrieval, or even more deep underwater exploration and emergent gameplay. When do we get to the point that Star Citizen is no longer just a space sim? Anyways, the possibility of underwater and on-water gameplay is sure to make the game an even more diverse experience. It's been a little while since we saw any work on the foliage touch bending. Definitely something I wouldn't expect to see until late into a feature's lifecycle. So maybe they are tackling it early, or maybe they're pretty happy with the flora development cycle they've created. Not sure, but it's a cool feature and it looks to be heading in a good direction. It sounds like it will not just be player-based interaction either, but also animals and hopefully ships as well. Finally, another update on a big location-based feature, Homesteads. We've seen these as on-paper concepts, 3D pictures, in-game assets, and now fully designed areas. I have a weird sense of fondness to this feature. We've gotten to watch it grow up so fast. Anyways, as the first implementation of the colonial-based villages that will be found scattered throughout less populated areas like Pyro, these small homesteads are definitely looking to be new, interesting locations that will eventually offer safety, repair, food, or possibly new opportunities. I still think these will most likely be included in the game in the summer of 2021 or later, depending on when we get Pyro. But I look forward to what they will provide in terms of gameplay for the years after that. This was a fantastic week of content, and it's coming right as we prepare for the annual drought. Nice. Expect to hear more from me over the coming weeks after 3.12 drops, and as the year wraps up, but for now, I'm all in on Cyberpunk 2077. Expect to see a lot of gameplay and feature pieces on the game as time goes on, but if you just can't wait, I'm having a subathon on Friday the 11th, and if you're watching this, there's a good chance I'm already live playing right now. I'll be giving away multiple copies of the game during my subathon, and in 1 week on December 18th. Check the link in the description if you'd like more information on how you can win that game for yourself. I'm also giving away multiple ships over on Twitch in the next month, culminating with a 400i giveaway. So if you want the goods, it may be worth checking that out. And of course, if you would like to support these giveaways and the community, you can become a member on Patreon, where you'll get perks like early videos, exclusive cinematics, and more. Regardless of what you choose, I hope to catch you all in the next one. Big thanks to my top supporters TK, the Alpaca, the Huntress, Ben N. Dasek, and Holston Coop.